What is going on, people? Welcome. Johnny here, and I'm working on trying to figure some stuff out. This is not going to be an episode in the playthrough. This is an ancillary episode where we talk about how to make a nice base in RimWorld with this shit going on. So this is kind of where we started working already on a base. Up here, I just made a big one with this one down here. I didn't have space to make more than 2 layers that surround it here, as you can see. And then the base would be, the base proper would be inside that. So we have 2 corridors completely surrounding it. And then up here, I made 3 corridors completely surrounding it. And then there's a base proper on the inside of that. And then down here, I just did some real simple stuff because after watching the way this works for a little bit, there's something that became obvious. So let me turn on temperature overlay. I currently have, what am I doing? I have this. Sorry, I'm drawing rooms and I don't really need to do that. Okay, so right now let me turn off roof as well. We've double walled away from every roof that's not overhead mountain, okay? And then otherwise everything's overhead mountain, multiple layers of insulation. This one I don't even have airlocks, but we'll show you how this works. So if I fire it up, bam, you're going to see on the temperature overlay, there's a Garland pod sprout. Don't worry about the girls. I've given them lots of food, beer. I've even prettied up their space for the time being. It's a slightly impressive barracks now. But anyways, I just need them to sit off to the side and not do anything while we test this theory. So the way it works, you can see temp comes down, but it comes down very slowly, and it is doing so in all of these. Let's see which is going to be the first to hit proper temps. You see this one is like this nice, no, let's turn that back up. This nice, like, I don't know, pale greeny blue color. So here we go. If you're sitting around 70, it'll be a nice green and greenish blue. And the way it's working, heat in RimWorld comes from adjacent rooms, and what I had selected before was draw rooms, which is here. Draw rooms, there it is. So this is going to show you is where the heat in this room is coming from, and you can see it comes from adjacent walls and just outside of those walls, and then it'll draw the whole room for you to do that. So in our situation here, heat is sorry, I don't want to miss when up. So that was the first one to go yellow right there. And I think that should tell you something interesting right off the bat. Let me just turn off this draw rooms nonsense. So heat's coming from outside and heat's coming from walls. You can see when I mouse over this wall, it's 126. When I mouse over this room, it's 126. This wall is 138. This room is 138. This wall is 160. The room is 160. The outer wall is 160. And then it goes up to 241. So you're pulling heat from the room itself, any heat sources or cooling sources, the wall, and then the adjacent wall. So in the case of this outer one, you're pulling heat from this spot, this wall, the room itself, the adjacent wall on the other side, and then what's just beyond that. So this one's pulling a massive amount of heat because it's bleeding through. So you can see though, single wall, look at that. Look at the way the bottom one's really going bananas. The top one's doing pretty well too. And the bottom one, look at that. It hit 100 Fahrenheit. That's 38 Celsius. Nobody else is even close to that. And I suspect if I were to throw some walls in there, it would frack it right up. And at some point, it'll just balance out. Like, it won't be able to improve any. But given what we ended up with for the ice sheet game, and this is essentially equivalent, you know, trying to make shit work with terrible temperatures. This one down here is still getting cooler, man. And that's because minimized walls, maximized overhead mountain. That's where our cool temperatures are coming from here. And in this case, all these double walls are doing me a disservice. Same for up here. We'll let things balance out and then we'll see it. But this one down here, look at that. The most simple one is already up to, or down, I should say, I want to let it balance out, and then I can start fricking with this one while the other ones keep coming down to temperature. It takes a massive amount of time. Now, the reason these double-walled rooms don't drop as fast, even though they're inside, is because they're double-walled. You can see we have 135 and 119, and the room itself is 135 because we have heat coming from the walls somehow. It's super insane. I don't get it. But look at this room. Like, I might have over-freaking done it here. We're down at 73 Fahrenheit. That's 23 Celsius. That's a very nice temperature, especially considering that the outside temperature is 249 degrees right now, 72 inside. It will continue to trickle down a bit. So I'm going to let these ones keep working while I focus on this guy. So this one seems to have, we're on 4x speed. I got to keep an eye on the girls too. Yeah, see what happened? If their coolers run out, they'll fucking die in there. There you go. And they'll actually just leave and seek safe temperatures in one of these rooms. Okay, so we've balanced out at 72 Fahrenheit. And now if we do this. Ah, shit, I didn't mean to do that. If you accidentally mine through a wall, it's not a big deal because as long as it's paused, the temperatures aren't going to transfer anywhere. So I'm going to take out all these corners and see if my inside temperature improves any, takes a shit, or stays the same. There you go. Okay, maybe it did tweak it a little bit. It went up a few degrees, probably due to me taking out the wrong wall. But so it looks like it's actually gone up a tick here. So it's beneficial to keep, no, it's the same now. Research screen, noble apparel, fine, whatever. Just keep yourselves busy in there, please. Yeah, so it made no difference. We're still at 72 degrees. The reason for that being the corners don't count, right? So you can put them there for aesthetics. You can leave them off if you need the space. Now this one seems to have leveled off here, right? I mean, it's tweaking, but it's also getting cooler at night, so that's making a bit of a difference. I don't need all this shit. So 122 over there, 93, 103, 103 right in the middle. Now, watch this. This is where it's at, and I'm going to pause it, and then after I do all the mining, removing double walls, I'll be back. Okay, so I've removed all the double walls. Now watch the temperatures fall. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's so counterintuitive to the way you think about it when you do the ice sheet game. And maybe it's because materials are super sparse, so all your interior walls are always single layer, and your exterior walls, you have to double layer to get that insulation from the cold. But now inside we're at 83. Dramatically better, right? It's still dropping. We're at 80 now. And let's see how this one fared. This one's at 71. It's 251 Fahrenheit, 122 Celsius outside. And these inner rooms, some of them are in the upper 70s. We have 76. Point being, these green temps are where you want to be. Over here we have in the 60s, which may be a little chilly for them at this point, sleeping, but whatever. So there you go, man. Like, that's phenomenal. And I think, let's see, it's high summer right now. So in the winter, and it's nighttime too, but we've got down to 70 degrees. And you could supplement this with a couple cold air pushers of some types, passive coolers, or maybe some ACs. This one has better options for ACs because you can hook them up where let's go bring the roof up so you can see you can take some ceiling down here. Now with these double walled rooms down here, look at this, right in the heart of it all. 124, 132, 139, 125. Like, bottom line is the simple base. I'm going to try and add some walls to this and see if it makes any difference. One thing you cannot do is use the clear command right now. It'll remove your roof as well. So you just gotta kind of work around the blocks and shit. All right, you could probably do deconstructs instead of mining, which I've been doing, and I think that doesn't leave any trace of anything. It's actually down in the 60s in this big room. So the bigger the room, the better it. No, that's not true. Like, everything is dropped down, upper 60s, low 70s in the center, and these are, I mean, these three outer corridors, they don't matter because they're just there to insulate us. There's a psychic drone, which is no bueno. But anyway, so point being, this worked out phenomenally. 84. We don't have anywhere to freeze food, which is a little bit of a problem. But again, in this situation where there's open ceilings, which also happens to be the place we can actually build, we're doing fine. And maybe this haphazard shape is causing us some problems. I'm sure it's not ideal. And maybe we have an open space here too. I should have drawn up a random map rather than using my current game map, but there it is. So let me see if I can't remove a bunch of double walls and rework some stuff here and bring the temps down. Right now we're in the 120s. The best we have is 106. There's a 102 right there. But these center rooms, 140 degrees, 134, 126. Okay, so all the double walls are removed on all levels, layers, whatever. Look at the temps come up. Oh shit, I missed one. I'm terrible at this game. I don't know why you people watch me. Let's also, anywhere we can. We want to maintain, we know we want to maintain 2 wall layers from there because we know there's significant heat bleeding out where there's no overhead mountain. But otherwise, let's see how we're doing here. We have, where's the temp? 109, 94, 109. These rooms, which were way up in the upper hundreds though. I mean, like 130 to 140. This one's 91, 92, 98. So they've come down 40 degrees. Hydroponics. Why not? You guys still have food? What happened to all those meals? Maybe they rotted away that fast? I don't know. Sorry. You got to keep the girls happy here. We want to give them some lavish meals. It doesn't really matter, but if they both end up dying, we'll... Oh, we're almost out of fuel again, too. Anyways, we'll end up getting game overed here. All right, so it looks like that's as good as it's going to get, which is not great. Like, I mean, we're in the mid-80s at this point. So I'm thinking this mess and these things in the middle are causing some problems. So I don't know if it makes any sense. Like, it's the same number of walls, whether you square it all off. You could make like an isolation area around it. Maybe if you did something like that. And damn it. Let's destroy that. It sucks when there's no pawns to do your dirty work for you, right? We do this. So that'll isolate that room. Okay, I mean, slowly but surely it's getting there. Let's do some more door action over here. I want this whole area, like, isolated. I don't even know if it makes sense. See, that was the wrong thing to do, apparently. I don't know why, but... So some of it gets tricky, right? But, I mean, this one, clearly 71 degrees. Fucking glorious. This one up here... Upper 60s. Look at that. 67, 68. So what's it telling me? It's probably these structures that are in the middle that are bleeding massive heat in. Because on this one, the only place we're getting any massive heat bleeding in is on this outer layer. And then that gets mitigated by the 2 additional corridors. And then you have the base proper inside. So the point being, cold air is coming from overhead mountain, period. Hot air is coming through your walls or through these sections where you have open roof. So if you can maximize overhead mountain, minimize walls, there you go, man. And let's do a little test down here. Did this one get tolerable? And this room is 75. That's decent. And you'll notice it's a few layers isolated from these things. The rooms that are further away from this, see, that's totally where it's happening from. All right, well, let's try building some walls in here and see if we can make a difference. So, like, if we wanted to use this as a living space, let's see if we can make it happen. This is a super interesting thing as well. If you build a wall... and then destroy it, but don't unpause it, you'll see where the wall is, if it's still built, 72 degrees, just like the rest of the room was before we started. When you destroy the wall 238 degrees, which is what it is outside, so the temperature map grid, I believe they call it, for the game is updating, and then that's going to have to balance itself out. But so what I did was just broke this up into rooms. We could have a workroom, a common area, some bedrooms. This colony's not going to get terribly big. Totally fucking livable and sustainable. It did tick up 1 degree, which is a little bit interesting. Probably, no, these walls are all equivalent. I'm not really sure why it did that, but there you go. Like, okay, now it's 76. It's also 20 degrees hotter outside, so there you go. And these corners made no difference. I left these corners off because inside, if we're getting cold air from overhead mountain and hot air from walls, maybe it makes sense to kick these off too, but then we might be losing some. Let's see if that makes any difference. Well, now it's all the way up to 77. What are these terrible sounds I'm hearing? They're fine, and I don't really care about anybody else. Okay, yeah, so that one seems to have had a detrimental impact, and you can easily just pop those babies back in and blah 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 blah. Also put these in, see if we can get it down with this structure. So this seems to be like the ideal thing to do, is just make a straight slimline bunker. Totally doable, especially in this space. I did cheat a little bit, so I may have to like bring it down, and I don't even know if there is enough space over here for such a structure. But point being, now, okay, so temps stayed way up, but it also got significantly warmer outside. It's 260 degrees. Now 77 degrees inside. That's fine. We can also just do this test and say, oops, we don't really need to go into dev mode to do a mass deconstruct, do we? Let's see if it comes back down. Although if it doesn't stay hot outside, it's a fucking moot point. We won't ever know. Maybe a degree. Couple degrees? Alright, so maybe we gain a degree or two by adding those walls in there. And those bedrooms were pretty big, but it seems like, I mean, hard to judge. Like, okay, I made some smaller rooms, 80, 80, 81, 80, yes, I don't know. Seems like it's all a horse apiece, really. It doesn't matter. It is ticking down a bit, but I bet you it's getting colder outside. So no noticeable difference for single wall layers inside. This would totally be a livable base. I think it's way more space than we're ever going to need. The only thing we really have to sort out with this situation is storage. But, oh no. Oh, he's attacking immediately. That could be a bit of a problem. Anyway, like, the whole point of this, where's this dumbass at? That's not him. Oh, guy's already over, or she's already over here. Health. Alright, sorry guys. Minor interruption here. Point of this whole thing is to show you that, let's go back to temps and turn off roof. It's going to be doable. It's going to be a lot of work. Like this one, this one was the most effective, and it's also going to be the easiest to make in terms of the mining that's required. So you can't complain too much. I wonder if I gain more by doing, so like 139 in that room, 108, 87. Now these are all multiple walled with airlocks. 124, 93, 83. So the answer is a definite yes. It's much more beneficial to make those bigger. Well, anyways, this gives me something to go on. So remember, cold air is coming from overhead mountain, period. If you have no heat pushers or cool air pushers, whatever, inside your base. Hot air is coming from your walls and from open ceiling spots, roof spots. If it's not overhead mountain, it's not pushing cold air. It's going to be pushing hot air. You can probably like confirm that just by doing something like this. Alright, so you also have to mine. You used to be able to deconstruct mountain and get like no bullshit out of it. But now, not a thing. Alright, let's do that. This. Is there a roof there? Okay, turn off the temperature overlay. Okay, there is no roof there. And the only way to get roof there is to send somebody over here to do the roof. Hold on. So it might actually behoove us to open these up a bit. Let's turn off roof and go back to temperature. Oof, maybe not. Nah, because this was definitely colder before. Oh, we can probably put this on this side. Do something like this, perhaps, which may assist the 96 degrees. It's also hard to tell because temperatures go up and down throughout the day all the time, but it's definitely colder than this in there, 240 something. So probably it makes sense to open those things up and just put lights in, put roof in, because it's cooler than it otherwise would be, assuming the bleed through here isn't as dramatic as the bleed through the walls would be. But anyway, that's just food for thought. We'll figure it out next time. I love you guys. I thank you much for being here. 71 in here. I'll see you next time.